What's up, DAW Nation? My name's Wyatt Troy, and I want to welcome you to episode 4 of Behind the DAW. I'm very sorry if you can hear my wife vacuuming in the room next to me. I'm recording from home. It's kind of the new setup. It is what it is. So nonetheless, I'm excited to get into this episode of Behind the DAW. Really quick, if you're new to the show, Behind the DAW is a series where we invite music producers, artists, music industry experts to come open up emotionally, philosophically, and artistically, share tips and tricks about their journey along their career and in the music industry. If you haven't checked out some of the other episodes, I highly encourage you to do so. Nonetheless, this week we have a very good friend of mine, very good friend of mine. His name is Joshua Marment. He goes by Diamond Eyes. He is probably the best singer ever. Period. He's absolutely amazing. He does all of it with very budget equipment. It's incredible. In this podcast, we're going to get into some very intimate details about his life, about how his best friend was murdered. It's really deep, and I'm really proud of him for opening up in such a way. So I encourage you to listen to this with a respectful mindset. If you have any comments that you want to put down in the comment section, please be respectful of Josh and what he's been through. Josh really went out on a limb here to really express himself, to really open up, and I'm really proud of him. I think this is going to be a really big help for a lot of people listening to the podcast. So I just want to give a huge shout out to the patrons that have come through every week, that have helped support this endeavor that we have going on with the podcast. I can't thank you guys enough. Literally, $1 a month, that's literally changing everything. And so if you want to be a part of the In the DAW and Behind the DAW Patreon, there is a link in the description. Go ahead and click on that. The DAW bot will get you all set up, and it just helps us keep going. It really does. And plus, you get access to a private Discord community where we're sharing tips, tricks, industry secrets, the newest industry news. You can collaborate with each other. It's absolutely amazing. So I'd highly encourage you at least to go check that out. Go ahead and click on the link. The DAW bot will put you in the right direction, and if you have any questions, you can ask the DAW bot. He'll give you the information that you need. And also, if you have any suggestions about artists to come on the show, I'm more than willing to bring basically anyone on that you guys so desire. There's a link in the description. Go ahead and click on that. And finally, I just want to remind everyone, if you really like what's going on here, if you really like the episode, you like what you're learning, you like what we stand for, I would highly encourage you to go ahead and click on the link in the description that's about suggestions. Go ahead and click on that, because if you click on that, you can go over, you can talk to the DAW bot, give all the DAW bot basically every suggestion of artist or music industry expert that you want to come on, and I'll consider them. I'll go through them. I read every single one. So thank you so much for coming through on this episode of Behind the DAW, and make sure to check out that In the DAW episode that we did with Diamond Eyes too. He broke down his song Hold On, which is the song playing in the intro right now. But without further ado, I want to introduce you to Diamond Eyes. I want to welcome everyone to Behind the DAW. This week we have Diamond Eyes, also known as Josh Marment. He's a brother. It's really good to have him here. I'm really happy about that. And then I also have my co-host today, who is Addie Danes. She also goes by Adelaide. Say hi, Addie.
Hi.
Addie just barely released a really amazing song with Trilogy. Trilogy's been on the show before. So tell us a little about the song that you just released.
So the song we just released is called Sweet Talker, and basically it's about a sweet talker. Yesterday was the official release date, and it's released through Nova Lotus Records, record label in Salt Lake City. And it's a song where it's like, it was a song created as in a memory, like something I had gone through in the past.
Addie, for those of you who are listening, if you need a female vocalist, she's absolutely incredible, super easy to work with. So if you need her contact information, go ahead and email me at wyatt@musicandstuffllc.com. But let's hop into the podcast. Josh, how you doing today, man?
I'm all good, man. How are you guys?
Pretty fantastic. Super stoked to have you here.
Likewise, man. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So first question that we always start off the podcast with is, tell me how you came up with the name Diamond Eyes and why you still use it.
Oh my goodness. I'll give you the short version, but essentially I went through that stage of picking an alias like every artist does. I decided it'd be a good idea to buy a notebook and to just write every single alias idea and name that came to my head. Anyway, 2 or 3 weeks go by, and I've filled out the book completely. From everything from rip-off Skrillex names to really left-wing names. And I just didn't like any of them. My dad comes in and he says, "You still looking for a name?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So he's like, "How about you call yourself Diamond Eyes? Because you have really blue eyes." And I was like, okay. And I just kind of, I'm not sure if it's just from the outside view and not being so attached to that name that you said, or, you know, if it's generally just a good name. But I kind of clicked with it and I was like, yeah, I like that name. So ever since my dad came into my home studio, like 6 years ago or something like that, I've been Diamond Eyes. So yeah, that's me.
That's amazing, dude. And I've looked at your branding and everything, and I love that you call your fan base Diamonds, right? That's the name you call them.
Yeah, super important.
To me, that's really, really cool, and I love that. Basically, your voice, or not your voice, sorry, your branding with Diamond Eyes, your alias with Diamond Eyes. I think it fits your music perfectly. You know what I mean? Because when I listen to it, your music's very sparkly. It's very, you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it. It's pretty, but it's like beautiful to say. I don't know how to explain it.
That makes sense to me. I mean, I get it why. So it's okay.
Awesome.
I understand you.
Awesome.
I looked you up today, and so I because he's like Diamond Eyes. I was like, have you heard of him? I was like, no, like I haven't heard of him, but I'm gonna look him up. And your stuff is sweet. That artwork for it, with what they're saying, it like fits in with your Diamond Eyes.
Thank you.
It's really cool, futuristic. I really like it. So, how long have you been doing music for? Like, what starting point where you're like, hey, I'm gonna do music?
10 years old. Yeah, 10 years old. I started with Spanish guitar that my nan bought me. She bought me a 3/4 size Spanish guitar. I had lessons for like a few weeks and I really didn't like the guitar teacher. So I taught myself for like 4 years and then found like an actual guitar teacher that I adored, and he was incredible. Yeah, I got involved with him, and ever since I had Diamond Eyes for like 6 years after. So
that is a lot of dedication at 10 years old to say, hey, I'm going to teach myself.
I got to the point of practicing for like 7-8 hours a day.
I remember when you and I were doing the pre-interview too, you said that. So you started with the Spanish guitar, which to me, the image of 10-year-old super British Josh picking up a Spanish guitar, it's one of the most joyful images I've ever had in my life.
Oh mate, you should. Yeah, you're lucky you want my parents. Apparently I got really, really agitated at them when I was trying to practice, I think, House of the Rising Sun. And I couldn't get it right, and my dad was filming it when I was about maybe 12 or 13, and I was like, I can't do it. And he was filming me, and I was getting really like aggy at him. Apart from those moments, it's a pretty pleasurable experience.
Tell us, why did you get into music, Josh?
I don't know how to answer that without sounding cliched, but it's at the same time, it's honest. I adore it. It's my passion. Even when I sucked at it, I was like, I never started music to be like famous or anything. I started music as an outlet for myself and a way to express myself in a way that I felt would be the way that I'd want to express myself growing up. So I purely and simply got into music because I just felt it. You know, I just felt it in me at a young age, and I just wanted to be that. I wanted to be that guy that can make songs and, you know, make people feel, but not only make them feel, but use it as a form of, the form to deal with life. You know, in essence, if something traumatic's happened in my life, I've been able to write about it, you know. But at the same token, if something brilliant's happened in my life, then I've also been able to write about it. But just to have that, and as a byproduct, have people that can really get captivated by my records is just as awesome. So yeah, for that reason, not for like money or fame or anything like that. Yeah, and I've always found, just like as a side extra bit, like I've always found when I've always written music for myself, that's when I've had the most success. Mm-hmm. It's not when like someone's been like, hey, you should write X record or you should do that. You know, it's been like, yeah, I'm really feeling this and I really want to make this. And I feel like I really get involved with the record when I'm behind it.
Do you have any experiences where music, whether it was music that you were writing or otherwise, you know, from someone else, that music really helped you in a hard time, or that really influenced you in a very like extreme or passionate way? Yeah,
I mean, Owl City, again, it was funny, but like through a lot of hard times in my life, I've gone and used Adam Young's works to get me through it. Like, yeah, pretty much every life event I can remember, like Owl City has been there.
Really?
Yeah, probably Owl City, Moving Mountains. I'd even say at some points like heavy bands, like a band called Issues. There's a vocalist called Tyler Carter, and I die for that man. Like, his voice is literally the most heavenly thing.
My boyfriend loves Issues.
Oh, they're so good. They're insanely good. But yeah, like Issues recently have been a lot of help for the past couple of years. Like, even like me and my sister, like I have two sisters, but like my older of the two, who's still my younger sister, you know, when she was going through a hard time, I'd take her out for drives in the car and we'd go get coffee and we'd go out for like just drives, and we'd smash Issues out so loud, like out of my car or out of her car, that like I'm surprised that we don't have tinnitus or a deaf.
Now, for those of you who don't know this about Josh, so Josh was extremely good friends with Christina Grimmie, which I had no idea when I first met Josh. And so he's agreed, we talked before the podcast started, that he has agreed that it's okay to talk about it. He feels comfortable with it and everything. So Josh, tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about your relationship with Christina, everything that you kind of went through with that.
Yeah, I don't know how else to put it, but she was my best friend. Yeah, I mean, she was like the one person that I'd always go to, you know, if I wasn't feeling life, or, you know, or vice versa, if I was super feeling life, you know, she'd always, and funnily enough, she'd always know when I was feeling down, or, you know, kind of out, because I'd usually get like a random text from her and she'd be like, oh, hey dude, thinking of you, like buddy, and like put like a million Y's on there. But yeah, so she was, I don't know, she just understood me like a lot, and being in the music industry was a lot, you know, that was a real blessing to have her in my life as such a close friend. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you the story of how we met, because it's quite odd and funny. I made this EP called the Nightlife EP. One of like a mutual friend of ours, his name's called Michael Wyckoff. He's an epic guy as well.
Time out. So Michael Wyckoff is actually, so he's my teacher at Icon Collective right now. He goes by Riot. He does a lot of finger drumming stuff. You guys should check out his stuff. He's amazing. Sorry, keep going.
Michael he's such a dude. Honestly, I love that guy to bits. I believe it was Michael that introduced Christina to one of my songs called Rivers. And it was off this EP that I made, my first EP. And Christina was on The Voice at the time. And like, she was one of the finalists, and she said to me that she was feeling really sad, and she was showing this record, and it like made her tear up and cry. And she said she just felt connected with it, and that was so awesome to hear. But as a result of her loving the record that much, she got in touch with me on Facebook. And initially, like, because I already had subscribed to Christina like years before, just growing up, I was like, oh cool, you know, she's got an incredible voice. And she plays the piano, and it's just awesome. So I can remember subbing. So I'd been subbed for like a couple of years at least before, and my sisters knew of her and loved her as well. And anyway, so I get this message from Christina on my Diamond Eyes Facebook, and it's like, oh my gosh, Diamond Eyes, hey, how are you? Like, I love your music. Like, love her. And just like loads of like grammatical errors everywhere. And I was like, no way, is this legit? That Christina Grimmie. It's like some fan that's crazed and is just having me on or whatever. So I'm like, I kind of write it off a little bit, but basically it was just like a huge, lovely message, like the most kind of like doughy message ever. And it's just like, but no, that's not her. No way. And anyway, I think I'm eating lunch later that day, and I'm like out on like a swing chair in my back garden, like eating pasta. I get like a vibration on my phone, and I'm like, oh, the real Grimmie is now following me on like Twitter and Instagram and like all these other things. And I bring up my management, and I'm like, do you know who Christina Grimmie is? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, she really likes my songs, and she's like following me like on all my social medias now. And they were like, what? They were like, how? I was like, I have no idea. Basically, so anyway, the conversation ended, and I was like, perhaps I'd better respond to the message that she'd sent me because I'm pretty sure that is her now. And because obviously, you know, she's quite big. She was like, you know, she was hugely influential for our generation. And, you know, I just didn't think it'd be her, because like she messaged me on like this private profile. It had a weird last name and stuff. And apparently it turns out it was her. So I respond, and we get talking, and just hitting it off. Like, and I'm just like, proper, like, we're on the same wavelength as far as music goes, and we were both in love with Skrillex at that point, and we were nerding out about video games, and like, and it's a really, really, I don't know, it wasn't expected at all. So we agreed that we'd make some records together, and so as a result of that, she very graciously not only flew me out and got me a hotel to stay at, but her and her brother also came and picked me up, took my bags from me, like I didn't have a choice in the matter, and then took me out to sushi, where I met Michael for the first time. Two like of my other really good friends now, Jonathan and Bobby. And obviously I sat down with Marcus and Christina as well, and we ate sushi. They were like, oh, you should definitely try the Trust Me platter. And it's like all this like fish that I'd never eaten before. And I'd love sushi, but this was like sushi, like some proper serious stuff. They drove me back to the hotel, and I'm pretty sure I just fell asleep for the night because I was shattered. But then I woke up the next day, and then essentially we wrote Stay With Me, which within like a day. It started out as a future bass record, and none of us were feeling it, and then we just kind of sat down with the piano and the guitar and started singing like hook lines together, and she would essentially, and I'm genuinely as well, it would just be like I'd write a line and sing a line, then she'd sing a line and write a line, and then I'd sing a line, write a line, and then so on and so forth. And literally within like such a short period of time, we'd written the lyrics together, and there was no contention for like, oh, I think you shouldn't sing it like that or sing like that. It was literally just straight. It works. Yeah, and just from that moment, we just became such a we were able to write stuff so quick. And like we had such a good like partnership at the same time.
That's amazing.
And it was amazing, truthfully. Like, unfortunately, now that she's no longer with us, it kills me, because never have I met someone that I've ever got on with so well that understood me. But musically we understood each other as well. And it was like, I just got her and she got me, and we were both like, let's just make some really, really good music. That was like my first person that I'd found that I'd actually got on with that on that level. So yeah, I mean, that was really freaking cool.
That's really interesting because like I'm thinking back on my life right now, and like you're right, connecting with another person on a musical level. You guys have similar likes, but it's not just like we like the same song or we like the same artist. It's like a whole different wavelength. It's like a whole different resonating power that I don't know. I've never really talked to anyone about this before now that I think about it, but like now thinking back on my life, really the only person I've ever resonated with musically was my brother Chase. And we used to do it over old school underground hip hop, that with like the really, really deep lyrics, like the really profound thought provoking lyrics. And I remember us just like sitting out and like looking at stars and doing this, and just like we were on the same wavelength. And so it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like that was you and Christina. Like you guys connected on that musical level, right?
100%. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man. Initially, and I think forever, it's always going to hurt knowing that she was taken from this life early. Honestly, looking at it now with a bit more perspective, I am literally so blessed to have had a connection and to have had her in my life as not only like one of my best friends, but as someone that kind of just understood me and I understood her as well. So yeah, for sure. That was just a blessing, man, like no amount of money I would ever trade for that memories and for the lessons that she taught me,
So when did you meet her, like officially? Like when was that message to you?
Early 2014, I think.
That was not that long ago.
No, again, I think we only knew each other for like 3 years in the end, or like 2.5 years maybe. Like, I've been talking beforehand and stuff, but yeah, no, it was like I knew her a lifetime. Yeah, to be honest with you, like even though for the short time period that she was in my life, I can't tell you how many gigabytes of data she took up on my bloody phone. Like the amount of videos she'd send me of like funny stuff. That's the other thing, I swear to you, dude, like she was like my biggest fan as well. Like we'd like every time I'd rock up to her house in the morning, I hear one of my songs playing, or like if we were out in the mall or something or doing something, like getting some lunch, she'd be singing like one of my songs that I hadn't even heard of for like a year or two, but she'd have them on her iPod and her iPhone and stuff.
So you became really good friends with Christina, and she was your biggest fan. You guys connected on such a deep level that is hard to find. I mean, I would say that the connection that you found maybe only comes around once, twice, 3 times at the most in a life. When all of that came, tragically to a stop, what did you do to get your life back? Because I mean, that had to be so drastic. I'm sure you took a break from music and basically everything, right?
Being honest with you, I'm only now picking myself back up from it. It happened tragically. It happened 2 days before my birthday. So I really didn't feel like celebrating. But fortunately, I had all my family around and stuff, and my girlfriend Erin. And there was an incredible amount of support, throughout all of this. Yeah, I took a big old break from music. I took a big old break from life, really. Not intentionally. We had so much planned. I just had to do a bit of a reset on my life. I had to kind of just spend time with family and friends. And, I mean, it's not even that I wanted to start making music. It's just I was emotionally exhausted. And at the same time, I had glandular fever as well.
Whoa.
That lasted me until this year, because it can last up to a year.
What is it called?
Glandular fever.
What is that? I don't even know.
I don't fully know, but all I know is it attacks your body basically, and there's no cure for it, but you have to get better. Your body has to get better by itself. But for a period of my life, just getting out of bed was hard enough, and it's really hard to tell people, be like, I've got nothing left to give today. I'm emotionally drained and grieving one of my best friends, and at the same time, I'm ill, on the plane out, I blacked out on the plane to go to New Jersey to say goodbye. And yeah, I didn't sleep for like days before the flight, and it was not a healthy place, like physically and mentally. It was a very dark place and time in my life, and at the time it just felt numb. But now looking back, it was like that was bottom, so to speak. I've got like a few people that I'm like, like that are like my support system. People that are behind me and people that believe in me. And she was like one. Christina was like one of the biggest, if not the biggest believer for me. She was like, in her head, she was like, he's already there. He's already there. She'd always say like, you're better than Skrillex. And like, look at her funny and be like, are you serious? Like, no, I'm not better than Skrillex. When someone isn't messing with you, and they will look you in the eye and they will say what they say. And they will mean it if they mean it. And so when I lost that and was ill at the same time, I just kind of struggled to get up in the morning. I struggled to get into routine. I struggled to structure my life. And to be honest with you, I had to get, and I still have therapy, to combat some of the things that have kind of resonated as a result of the trauma. And it's very real, but at the same time, it's very okay to feel not okay. And that took me such a long time, maybe up until about 2-3 months ago, where I actually just started opening up. I thought I was opening up to my therapist, but it was only like 3 months ago that I actually started opening up to my therapist and being honest and having the real conversations with myself, and being like, I'm not okay, this is how I feel, and that's okay. And I said to myself after my mental health deteriorated last year, I was like, I'm going to get a therapist and I'm going to work through these problems, and I'm going to do it without any kind of antidepressant drug, because I had quite heavy depression. I still suffer from like depression and anxiety quite bad at some points. I was like, I want to fight through this now when it's its worst, so I don't have returning problems because I've not solved it, or not solved it, but not kind of combated it or not fought it back. I dove straight in head first, and obviously now I'm doing a lot better. I'm still left with a lot of pain because it is rightfully painful, to lose people in that manner. Yeah, unfortunately, I lost another one of my really close friends a few months ago to some unforeseen circumstances on his end. It's something that you can never really get rid of, but you can get better from it for sure. Now I'm back at making music every day. Unfortunately, I've lost all of my buzz. I built up quite a lot of a name for myself, and we got like all these, we got like a sync deal with the Madden thing with Silent, BBC Radio 1, and like Zane Lowe was playing some of my stuff. And so yeah, now I've got obviously building that back up now. But yeah, that will happen, but you just kind of got to give it time and be kind.
You're an incredible artist, so that's not going to go away. You're going to build it back up. We're very, very sorry for your loss.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I really got to say, like, the fact that you are the type of person that would realize that you're not doing good and that you would reach out for help. I need a therapist. I need to go to a counselor and all that kind of stuff. That is incredible, Josh, because most people would not acknowledge it. Most people just sweep it underneath the rug. And most people would not talk about this in a podcast situation. You know what I mean? Like, but you're man enough to say, I struggled and I got the help I needed and I'm a lot better now and I'm going to keep getting better, Yeah.
I mean, a few months ago, perhaps I wasn't as strong. Yeah. I mean, even if one person kind of is going through a tough time and isn't sure what to do with their life, if they're struggling mentally, then they hear this or hear me talking about it, it could be in the street with a friend, or it could be on this podcast, then that's awesome. Being able to talk about how you feel openly is such a gift, and everyone has the capacity to be honest about themselves. And I think it's something that I owe to not only myself, but to other people that are going through it, that haven't necessarily been okay or been able to deal with it yet in any mental aspect.
So I have this theory with what you're going through right now. I would arguably say, like the circumstance that you explained with Christina, that is extremely tragic. And I don't know if anyone necessarily, I shouldn't say anyone. I don't know if very many people go through that intense of a tragedy in their life, but I do believe that everyone at least goes through some form of tragedy, if not several in their life, right? So opening up on my end too. So when I was 19 years old, my dad committed suicide. And so that was really, really rough. And he actually wasn't my real dad. He was just the man that raised me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have a dad, and then I did have a dad, and then that dad committed suicide. You know what I mean? It was like really, 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 really tragic. So like I can kind of enter the tragic boat with you and kind of understand like where you're coming from and everything. So when that happened, it was the worst thing in the world. And I know exactly what you're talking about. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't focus on anything. You know what I mean? I couldn't go hang out with friends. I felt like any form of happiness was a disgrace. You know what I mean? Because it's like, how could I be happy right now when someone so close to me was taken from me? But finally, I feel like I did get to a point like what you're talking about, where it's like, I don't think it's good to live like this. Like, I don't think it's good to have this pain 24/7. And so I took the proper steps and everything. And so what I've come to realize with that, because it's like, but if I let go of the pain, do I let go of them? You know what I mean? And you kind of struggle with that. And so what I've come to notice is that, like, you can still let go of the pain without letting go of them. Feeling pain is not the best way to honor those that you love that have passed on. It's actually one of the worst things you can ever do, because if you think about it, they're looking at you from the other side. They're like, I don't want you to hurt. Like, do you know how painful it is for me to be on the other side and seeing you hurt? I still have a lot of questions why what happened, but I've gotten to a point now where it's like, no, I am not pain free of it, but I've gotten to a point where it's like, I have accepted what has happened and have faith and have, comfort that one day I will know the answers. Without getting too spiritual, I do believe that one day I am going to be able to sit down and have a conversation with him in the next life and be like, why? And he's going to be like, this is why, these are the circumstances that happened. This is why I made this decision, so on and so forth. And then at that point, I feel like, okay, I can fully let go at that point. You know what I mean? So
good, mate. Good on you for being the hero of your own headspace, because being able to take control of a situation like that requires an intense amount of character, and that's and at the same time, suicide is a real thing, and it's absolutely horrible and tragic. And even you may touch someone in this podcast, but I know, like, even just talking to someone about your experience who's going through something similar, or even on the end of wanting to do that, so yeah, good on you, man, for being so open about it. And I hope that it touches someone else and can kind of cause a knock-on effect, if anything.
Just listening to this conversation with you guys, like, it's amazing, because you guys are so on the other side now. Like, you're still dealing with the pain of it, but you have allowed yourself to feel. So many people just like block it out.
Yeah.
Block it out and don't deal with it. And you guys have really just listening, you guys have really allowed yourself, but you guys are incredible. And I have been blessed to, I've never had someone close to me pass away or die. But the closest thing I've had is, great grandparents, or so I do pictures, I'm into photography, and I had taken this girl's senior pictures. And 2 days later, she had gotten in an argument with her dad, and they were driving really fast on the freeway, and she had hopped out of the car and died.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, I wasn't really close to her, but just that I had talked to her 2 days before this and like taken her senior pictures and got to know her a little bit. It was just like devastating. So I can't imagine what you guys have gone through, just for me having that small experience with it.
It's honestly, all pain to a point is equal. Pain is pain at the end of the day. So yeah. So again, sorry that you experienced losing a friend or a colleague during that. It's still never it's never an enjoyable experience, for sure. And it does all of it. No matter how deep you're involved with somebody, or a person or an event, it still takes character to get through it. So yeah. Yeah, good on you for, obviously dealing with it.
thank you to both of you for really opening up like that. It's not an easy place to go into. And it, like you said, Josh, takes a lot of character to open up with that kind of stuff. I wanted to ask you, so with Hold On, bar none is my favorite song from you. It's amazing. It's incredible. Is that song about Christina?
No, it's not. It's actually, it's my girlfriend. A lot of inspiration came through coming out the other end with Christina. It's just about, when my girlfriend was going through a bit of a rough time, and giving her something to listen to when she wasn't feeling, good. Wow. It's just like, I'm just enough to make you smile. That was like one of the opening lyrics. And I just wanted to remember, whenever she's feeling low, that, I'm there and I love her. Wow. And truthfully, that's the only reason, like, really why I wrote this song.
One of my follow-up questions to that is because to this day, so I've been married for 2.5, almost 3 years. We're 2 kids in. I haven't created a song for my wife because of this reason. I know, Addie, you're looking at me.
Like, what?
The reason why is because I just feel like nothing that I create will properly convey what I feel. Like, I'm kind of afraid to even try. kind of put something in song form. I mean, how did you do that? You know what I mean? Because you did a bang up job. Like, you did awesome with it.
It's the same reason why I made my girlfriend. I made her a video game for her last birthday.
What?
It took me 200 hours of my time from scratch to make her an RPG, like a role-playing game.
Oh my God.
Where she was the main character, and her little miniature Dachshund, Winnie is her little dog's name, is in there as well. And like every one of her little like sayings, like she says loads of little cute things that I always remember. So I coded them into the game.
Best boyfriend award goes.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I have had up until that point 0 game development knowledge. So I sat down and she was like, we were talking about video games, and she was like, I'd love to be a video game character. And that stuck with me in my head. Then like a few months before her birthday, I was like, I'm going to make her a video game, but I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. And to be honest with you, it came out really well. Like, my advice to you would be, don't be afraid of it being perfect. Only concentrate on doing it for the right reasons. And if you concentrate, if it's like a love song to your wife, or, just something that you're feeling yourself, like if you want to write about an experience, or make a game about experience, I don't know. But if you do it for the right reasons, and say for your wife, you make her a song because you love her and you adore her. It doesn't matter if the song's literally like an out of tune guitar and it's like, and you go, I love you. Like, it would probably make her laugh, but she'll still get the same thing, the same emotion from it as you writing this complex, like 7/8 rhythm with polyrhythms and stuff in it, or like some kind of like ballad song or some kind of electronic dance music piece. It's where the heart is and what you're saying.
I totally agree with you. You write it for her. You don't write it like, oh, I hope this sounds good. Like, you just write it with her in mind, and whatever comes out, is how you should write it. Don't compare it to any other love song. Like, this is for her. This is
blowing me away right now, because like thinking about it. The other day, my daughter walked up to me and she had this like big smile on her face, and she pulled a half-eaten grape out of her mouth and gave it to me. And I was like,
daughter is the cutest.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, bless her.
Literally.
But it makes sense. Like what you're saying right now is that like if you look at the actual what she gave me, like it's a half-eaten grape, like woohoo, like there's nothing really to that. But yeah, because that's what, to the best of her ability right now, she could give to me being 18, 19 months old. It was like so heart melting, and it was just like, oh, like thank you so much.
She's like 18 months old. And she gave you a grape. And maybe when she's 2-year-old, she'll give you a picture. When she's 8-year-old, she might write you a poem. And when she's 18-year-old, she'll tell you that she loves you and she'll thank you for raising her.
Yeah.
When she's 30 and she's got a husband, she'll thank you for walking her down the aisle. Her best of her ability and the best of our ability will only be as good as where we are now. Yeah, I mean, so long as you're always giving your best, you'll never be able to truly give everything at the moment in time. Like what you want in your head, because what you want is always perfect. But, the best of your ability, like you said about your daughter, that's something that you can give to someone you love. Or even to yourself. You deserve to give yourself the best.
Write all this down because this is super inspiring.
Luckily, Wyatt's got it on record. So.
Yeah, seriously.
We're good.
Yeah. Like I'm literally going to save it like 3 times after this because, man, this has been just an unbelievable,
amazing podcast. I can't even believe it.
Just thank you guys for like involving me in this, and it's so nice to meet you, Josh.
It's been my pleasure for you guys to involve me, and it's again been a pleasure to meet you as well. On
final question for you, and then we can go ahead and head out. So this is a question that I've asked everyone that's come on the podcast this far, and a lot of different answers, and I'm really interested to know yours. So to give you a scenario, right? So you, from here on out, you live the dream life, whatever you define as the dream life. You meet all of your goals. You are so satisfied with your life. Finally, it comes to the end of your life. You're on your deathbed and you turn over and you look at your firstborn son, and you only have enough breath, enough energy to tell him one piece of advice. What do you tell him?
Whew, it's a heavy question. Oh my gosh, that's hard.
Okay. It's okay to be.
It's okay to be?
Yeah.
I can see this going in so many beautiful directions, but I want you to expand on it. I know you probably wouldn't be able to expand on it with him, but I want you to expand on it with me. Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. just thinking about it, and just thought of my personal experiences over the years, and even like the stuff that's like losing friends over the past year, and dealing with illness and mental health and physical health, and it's okay to be, and it's a multitude of things. It's an amalgamation of life, really. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be down. It's okay to feel good when you feel good. It's okay to celebrate. It's okay to love. And it's okay to live. That's kind of where my head kind of took me. And it's like, most importantly, it's okay to be you.
That's really, really good advice, because people just don't know how to be happy, and they don't know how to, like, I've struggled with being in a situation and being all there, feel emotions and being all there 100%. And so that's really, really good advice.
Josh, Addie, thank you so much for joining me on the show. And oh my gosh, I can't even explain how much I've learned about you and myself and just life in general. So thank you so much. What's up, DAW Nation? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Behind the DAW with Diamond Eyes. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, or if you didn't enjoy it, please let us know down in the comments. What did you like? What didn't you like? What could we improve on? What suggestions do you have for these type of episodes? I just want to remind you about the Patreon that keeps this podcast going. There's a link down in the description. DAWbot will get you all set up if you want to go down that path. Again, I want to remind you about the In the DAW episode that we did with Diamond Eyes. It is on Multiplier's YouTube channel, or you can listen to the 4.5 episode, which is the episode right after this, that basically we break down his song Hold On. It's really powerful if you want to learn more about the production side of electronic music. So with that being said, if you're listening to this on SoundCloud or Spotify or iTunes or Deezer or Google Play or YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're partaking of this and you like what's going on, please comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow, repost, whatever is appropriate for the platform that you're on. It helps us know that we're doing a good thing, and it helps get the message out to other producers. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Behind the DAW with Diamond Eyes, and we'll see you next week.